Everybody loud when they got opinions, but noise don't build nothing. Noise don't raise standards, don't feed generations, don't leave instructions behind. Noise is cheap, value is quiet, patient, and disciplined. And when people talk down on girls, when they call them a loss, a burden, a waste of money, that's just noise from minds that never learn how value actually works. Because real value don't announce itself early. It grows. It compounds. It waits until the results speak louder than any mouth ever could. See, people who think short-term always scared of investing long-term. They look at today's costs and they ignore tomorrow's return. They see school fees, dreams, independence, and they panic. But the same people will spend endlessly on things that bring nothing back. That's how you know it's not about money. It's about mindset. A broke mindset will always fear growth. It can't control. And a girl with education, confidence, and vision. That's growth that can't be boxed in. Value don't come from tradition. If tradition is rooted in fear, value comes from progress with purpose. When you pour into a girl, you're not just paying for books or skills. You're funding leadership, stability, wisdom. You're funding a future mother who understands discipline, a future leader who understands sacrifice, a future mind that knows how to think beyond survival. That's not expense, that's infrastructure. That's foundation work. And foundation work never looks flashy in the beginning, but it's the reason the building's still standing when storms hit. People respect loud success, but ignore solid preparation. They clap for outcomes, but criticize the process. They want results without patience, respect without investment. A value don't rush. Value studies, sharpens, absorbs pressure, and comes back multiplied. A girl raised with belief becomes a woman who builds solutions instead of excuses. And solutions are always more valuable than opinions. The loudest critics usually never build anything. They echo what they heard, repeat what was handed down, and call it wisdom. But inherited thinking without reflection is just recycled limitation. Real thinkers question the system, audit the beliefs, and keep what produces results. And the results are clear. Where women are educated, societies rise. Where women are respected, families stabilize. Where women are empowered, economies grow. That's not emotion, that's math. Noise focuses on control. Value focuses on contribution. Noise asks, what if she becomes too much? Value asks, what if she becomes everything she's capable of? And that difference right there separates fear-based living from legacy-based living. You don't build a future by shrinking people. You build it by expanding capacity. When you invest in a girl, you're investing in someone who understands sacrifice early, someone who learns resilience in silence, someone who knows how to hold things together when pressure shows up. That kind of strength don't disappear. It transfers. It teaches children. It shapes communities. It changes direction quietly without asking permission. People love talking about returns when it comes to business, but forget the highest return investment is human potential, especially potential that's been underestimated, especially potential that's been ignored. History keeps proving the same lesson. What you overlook today will outgrow you tomorrow, and what you invest in today will protect you later. Value over noise means ignoring the crowd and trusting the process. It means understanding that not everything valuable is immediately profitable. Some things pay back in decades, not days. Some investments don't show up on balance sheets, but show up in character, stability, and leadership. And those are the things that survive when money loses meaning. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them label from the sidelines. Noise always runs out of breath. Value keeps moving quietly, consistently, with purpose. And when the results finally show up, there's no debate left. Because value doesn't argue, it proves. Legacy ain't something you talk about when you get old. It's something you build every day with the choices you make when nobody's watching. It's about thinking further than your own comfort, further than your own lifetime, further than the applause of the moment. Most people live reaction to reaction, problem to problem, paycheck to paycheck. Legacy thinkers move different. They ask one question before every move: how does this echo after I'm gone? When people say girls are a burden, what they're really saying is they don't plan past the present. That's survival thinking. Legacy thinking understands that bloodlines don't rise by accident. They rise by design. And the strongest designs always include women who are educated, respected, and trusted, with responsibility. You can't talk about future generations while cutting off half the source of wisdom and strength that shapes them. A legacy isn't built on money alone. Money comes and goes. Empires with cash, but no values collapse fast. Legacy is built on principles, on mindset, on how children are raised to see themselves in the world. And in every home, the environment is set by the woman. Her discipline becomes routine. Her awareness becomes protection. Her mindset becomes the default. That's not theory, that's reality. So when you invest in her growth, you're really investing in the atmosphere your future lives in. Short-term thinkers see cost. Legacy thinkers see continuity. They understand that what you plant in one generation becomes shade for the next. You might not sit under that tree, but your name will be remembered for planting. That's real wealth. That's ownership beyond property. That's impact beyond income. Legacy thinking also means breaking cycles. Some traditions were never meant to be continued. They were meant to be challenged. Just because something was normal doesn't mean it was right. And it takes courage to say, we're not doing this anymore. We're upgrading the mindset. We're raising the standard. We're choosing progress over comfort. That's how legacies are rewritten. A girl raised with vision doesn't just survive. She strategizes. She doesn't just accept. She questions. She doesn't just follow. She leads when the time comes. And that leadership doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like a stable home. Sometimes it looks like a disciplined child. Sometimes it looks like a decision that keeps a family out of chaos. Quiet leadership still counts. Actually, it lasts longer. Legacy thinkers know that respect is an asset. You can't disrespect women and expect strong families. You can't silence daughters and expect confident sons. Energy transfers, trauma transfers, but so does healing, so does wisdom, so does strength. What you normalize today becomes someone else's starting point tomorrow. People obsessed with control, fear educated women because control doesn't survive awareness, but legacy doesn't need control. Legacy needs alignment. When people understand their value, they move with purpose, and purpose creates order without force. That's why legacy builders don't fear empowerment, they encourage it. Real legacy is when your absence doesn't create collapse. When systems you built keep running. When values you taught keep guiding. When standards you set keep protecting. And women are central to that continuity. They are the carriers of culture, the translators of values, the first teachers of identity. Ignore that, and you're gambling with the future. Legacy thinking is patient. It's willing to look misunderstood today to be respected tomorrow. It's willing to invest where returns are invisible. It's willing to stand alone against outdated thinking. Because legacy builders don't chase approval. They chase alignment with the future they're responsible for. At the end of the day, legacy is a question of intention. Did you make things easier or stronger for the next generation? Did you expand possibility or pass down limitation? And the answer is written in how you treated your daughters, your sisters, your women, because the future doesn't just show up, it's raised. Respect ain't something you demand with your voice, it's something you earn with your conduct. Real power doesn't announce itself loud, it moves calm, steady, and undeniable. The people who understand respect understand leverage. The people who don't usually try to replace it with fear, control, or tradition that never got questioned. But fear expires, control cracks, respect lasts. When a society disrespects women, it weakens its own foundation. Not immediately, not overnight, but slowly, quietly from the inside. Because respect is oxygen. You take it away, things don't collapse right away. They suffocate over time. Families lose balance. Children grow up confused. Values blur. And everybody wonders how things went wrong without realizing where the damage started. Respect is power because it creates stability without force. A respected woman moves with confidence, not permission. She raises children who understand boundaries, accountability, and self-worth. That kind of upbringing produces disciplined men and grounded women. You don't need violence to maintain order when respect is present. Respect organizes energy naturally. People who fear strong women usually fear losing dominance, not losing balance. The dominance is temporary. Power built on intimidation always needs maintenance. Respect, once established, sustains itself. That's why the most powerful environments are not the loudest ones. They're the ones where everyone knows their value in their role. Disrespect teaches the wrong lessons. It teaches boys entitlement instead of responsibility. It teaches girls silence instead of confidence. And both of those lessons show up later as broken relationships, broken leadership, broken communities. You can't plant disrespect and expect dignity to grow. It don't work like that. Respect is also discipline. It's how you speak when you're angry. It's how you listen when you disagree. It's how you protect instead of control. And women understand this deeply because they live at the intersection of pressure and expectation. When you respect that, you unlock wisdom that can't be taught in books. A woman who is respected doesn't need to fight for space. She creates it. She doesn't waste energy proving herself. She invested in building. That energy transfers to everything around her. Homes become organized. Decisions become intentional. Standards rise without arguments. That's power in its purest form. Nations don't fall because of lack of resources. They fall because of lack of respect. Corruption starts with disrespect for people. Violence starts with disrespect for life. And it always escalates. But where women are respected, accountability exists early. Children are corrected with care. Values are reinforced daily. That's preventative power. Respect also means trust, and trust multiplies strengths. When women are trusted with education, leadership, and voice, they don't weaken society, they sharpen it. They see risks early. They manage details others ignore. They think long-term because they're wired to protect future generations. Ignoring that intelligence is strategic failure. A lot of people confuse respect with submission. That's insecurity talking. Respect is recognition. It's acknowledging contribution. It's understanding that strength comes in different forms. Physical power fades. Authority shifts. But moral influence lasts. And women hold a lot of moral influence, whether people admit it or not. Respect is power because it creates legacy. It teaches sons how to treat partners. It teaches daughters how to value themselves. It shapes what becomes normal in this generation. And what's normal becomes culture. Culture outlives laws, money, and titles. The real flex is not controlling women, it's building environments where they thrive. Because when women thrive, families stabilize. When families stabilize, communities grow. When communities grow, the future has direction. That's power you don't see on the surface, but you feel it when things start falling apart. Respect isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's foresight. It's understanding that the strongest systems don't rely on fear. They rely on alignment. And alignment only comes when people feel valued. At the end of that day, respect shows up in the results, in the confidence of children, in the stability of homes, in the integrity of leadership. And that's why respect will always be power, because it builds what force never can.